The Bearcat Basketball Podcast is now presented by the Healthcare Management Group. Shout out to everyone at HCMG, and thank you for the support. Welcome back to another episode of the Bearcat Basketball Podcast. I'm your host, Alex Meacham, former UC basketball player from 1997 to 1999 under the legendary coach, my man, Bob Huggins. And I was fortunate enough to wear the iconic Jordan Brand unis during my time. Now, you can find me on social media. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Alex_Meacham. Meacham is spelled M-E-A-C-H-A-M. You can find me on Facebook and LinkedIn as Alex Meacham. You can find me on Snapchat, Big Meach 41. And thanks to my producer, the Honorable Stu Holt, I'm on TikTok. No videos, though. Just a creeper. On TikTok at Alex Meacham 41. I'd like to bring in now my producer, Stu Holt. Stu, how you doing?
I'm doing very good. Good.
Are you ever not doing good or very good, or we teeter between good and very good?
Well, good and very good. There's levels to good, but at the end of the day, it's all good.
So, what are the levels of good? Like, is that by the tone of how you say it?
Well, you have good, then you have very good, but very good is almost like a substitute for great, but we keep it good.
Okay.
So good, very good, and then the tone says a lot as well.
How many O's in the good?
See, that's good. That's a good question. It depends. A regular good is, you got good, then you got good. That's about 3 O's. Then you got good.
And that's when
it's almost very good, but then you got very good.
I understand.
That tops it off.
I have a better understanding now. I tell you what's not good. What's not good are these fans right now in sports. So, we've gone through this pandemic, been in a quarantine. Fans haven't been allowed. We've had the NBA bubble and very low attendance at sporting events. Now they're opening things back up. I know they have the vaccinated versus non-vaccinated sections. They have, some stadiums have full capacity now. Just this week, I was very disturbed by some things that I saw. Let's take a trip to New York City, Madison Square Garden. The Knicks are playing the Hawks. Trae Young is balling. So Knick fans, being Knick fans, they want to make him the villain, which he's one of the nicest kids. Like, of all villains, that's like a bad villain. But I get it. But they cross the line. They start chanting F Trae Young. And I'm not talking about 10 people. I'm not talking about 15 drunk college students. I'm talking about an entire arena of adults. I mean, it was so loud that I think Jim Jackson was doing the game. He was the color on the game. And he just started laughing like, this is unreal.
Wow.
And then a fan spit towards Trae Young. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. I saw it on social media. I was like, wow. I was like, man, they've really... But what I think it is, I think COVID has a lot to do with it. I think with fans returning, I think people are just getting a little too excited, getting a little bit too hyped up.
They've been quarantined.
They've been quarantined, and now they out here just turning up, and it's like you got to calm down. Got to calm down.
And the gentleman that spit, I say the gentleman loosely. I shouldn't even call him a gentleman, but the person that spit towards Trae Young, he spit over 50 Cent and I guess the young lady he brought to the game. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that.
50 was sitting there. Now, the female that was with 50, I believe she was with 50, she even jumped back. And I'm surprised 50 didn't do something about it because spit over as tough and as gangster as he portrays on IG.
Well,
and
as far
Twitter.
As we know, we don't know that.
That's true. That's true. But okay, so I've given you the example at Madison Square Garden. Let's take it to the Wizards game. Russell Westbrook gets hurt, has to go back to the locker room, and he's going back. They're playing the Sixers, right? They're in Philly, and Philly fans are known for being over the top and crazy and super passionate. As he's making his way back to the locker room, a fan dumps popcorn on Russ's head. Now, of all the people you don't want to mess with in the NBA, Russ has to be top 5 of maybe he's not physically he's big, but he's not maybe physically the toughest. But that dude's crazy.
Yeah.
I think we all know Russ is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
What'd you think when you saw that?
Well, when I saw that, I was just like, wow. You know, I mean, you got to think about it. He's hurt. He's already frustrated.
Right.
And now you're going to just pour some popcorn on him. You know how much who wouldn't snap when somebody does that?
Right.
You know, you already frustrated. You in pain. You got to walk back. And now you're like, what was that? It's popcorn.
That's a great point, because it'd be different if, let's say, Russ just dropped 50, they win, and he's going back to the locker room, and a Philly fan is pissed off that he just beat his 76ers, and he goes, here's some popcorn. No.
Right.
Russ is hurt.
He's hurt.
He can't finish the game.
Exactly.
And you dump buttered popcorn on his head. So apparently that fan in Philly, the fan in New York have been banned from, I believe, and hopefully I'm right on this, they're banned from not only Knicks and Philly games, but they're banned from the arena for events. So meaning if there's a concert there or some sort of event. Now I don't know how you regulate that.
That's what I've been thinking this whole time. Like, how do you if my friend buys tickets,
Right,
and he gives me one of the tickets, I'm in.
and how do you know, like, if you're taking the tickets, how do you know that's
the person?
John Smith?
Exactly. You don't.
Right. He could have like a little disguise, a little fake mustache.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like they have pictures anyway, right? They don't have like the people taking the tickets don't have like a picture of everybody that's been banned.
I don't know. I don't know how that works.
I don't know.
Maybe that's just, kind of talk to make people feel. I personally think I think they need to do something further about that. Because let me say this. If you look at athletes as kind of protected people, right? We look at them as protected people. What's the difference between what that fan did to a player? Let's say that a person in public did that to a police officer. Like, let's say there's a police officer there and the person spit on the police officer,
right,
or dumped some popcorn on a police officer's head as he was maybe making an arrest or whatever. They get, something happens to them for that. So I think if you say, okay, you're banned from the arena, I think dudes are like, oh, okay, whatever.
Right.
Whatever.
Right.
But if you're like, you're getting prosecuted or whatever the case might be, you're going to jail.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what should happen.
I agree.
That's what should happen, because that's ridiculous. I mean, you think you let's go a little bit further back.
Oh, the malice in the palace.
There you go. I mean, Ronald Allen was just trying to lay on the table. That's all he was doing, was laying on the table. And then they took it too far. And like you said, that's an equivalent of, why would you do that to Ron Artest of all people?
Ron Artest is not well.
He's not.
Then they had Steven Jackson was on the team,
He was
right?
on the team. That's not the team to mess with.
That is not the team.
That's not the team to mess with.
You're messing with, and you probably don't know this story, but anybody's out there, go on Google search, and Ron Artest, and I can't remember if this was when he was coming out of high school or if he might have been in the NBA. I think somebody interviewed him. Have you ever heard the story about when he played pickup ball in New York, and the story goes like he was playing pickup ball and somebody got in an argument and they broke a leg off of a table and stabbed the guy through the heart and killed him?
Wow.
Have you ever heard this story?
No.
You should hear Ron Artest tell it.
Wow.
They were asking him about, his mentality on the court, and he starts telling them. Could you imagine being a reporter and you're talking to Ron after a game, and he's like, man, this is nothing, man. When I was growing up in New York, this guy broke a table leg off and stabbed one of my teammates in the heart and killed him. Could you imagine being a reporter like, wait a minute, what?
You're probably like, all right, thank you for that.
Like, wait a minute. Ron's different. But then how about this one? Okay, I'm gonna take it to the baseball field. These brawls in the stands at baseball games, every day you turn it on. I think it was maybe the Giants game or the Padres or somebody like that, and one of the fans ran over and he just knocked that dude out. And you just constantly you're seeing brawls in the stands. But I think what takes the cake was last night. Was it last night? Yeah, I think it was last night. There was a rain delay at the Reds game. I believe it was a Reds game. And a fan decided to get naked and run across the tarp when the rain delay was going on. And the tarp has the tube you roll out, the big tube. Well, the guy's naked, and he... First of all, he does a dive across the tarp, so he slides all the way to the tube. He goes inside of the tube, goes in the middle of the tube, so the security can't get him out.
Oh, my goodness.
And they're trying to get... Oh, it was so funny. But I'm thinking to myself, like, what is wrong with people?
You know what? Here's what it is.
Oh, I'm glad, because I've been looking for answers. So
Here's
go ahead.
what it is. As an athlete, what it is to you is not what it is to the fan. To you, this is something you've been doing since you were 5 years old. This is a dream. This is a passion. This is hard work. This is your work. To them, it's just entertainment a lot of times. As fans, you've got to respect the fact that to the player, it's not just entertainment. This is their livelihood.
Sure.
So what happens is fans, they start drinking,
Yep.
and they're looking for entertainment, and that's cool, right? That's cool. Without the fans, the experience wouldn't be the same. But the fans do have to understand that it's not just entertainment to those that's on the court or on the field.
That's a good point. And I think you have in that whole pot that you just talked about, you have to throw in there, in that ingredients, you have to throw in gambling too. These fans are betting on these games, and they might lose money. They might be losing money, and they're yelling at the person that's causing them to lose money.
Right.
And they're impacted. Because just think about, like, you look at football, and I've always said this, I enjoy NFL football. I don't love it. My friends that love the NFL love it because of fantasy football.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
I don't play fantasy football. So I enjoy it, but they love it because of and they go crazy over fantasy football. The whole betting aspect. My friends bet on NBA games, and they get upset with players and all that stuff, and that's added another component. But here's what I don't understand. What I don't understand is the majority of these people that I just talked about are adults.
Oh, yeah.
These aren't drunk college students. This isn't like Colin Cruzy, who's at UK drunk in the student section. That never happened, right? You always behave. You would never do that. You're just a class guy, right? So this isn't like I can understand. I don't agree with, but I understand when it happens in a student section because they're young people.
Right.
Young people drinking don't make good decisions. Well, people in general drinking usually don't make good decisions, but now you got adults, you've got anger, and it's just I can't believe these are adults. Like when they were chanting "F you, Trae Young," like they panned through the crowd, and it's like grown men, and I'm like, if you have a kid and your kid sees you on a like that ain't. Of course, the kid might laugh, but that just ain't cool.
Yeah, it's not at all. It's not at all. But a lot of times, like, what it also is, it's a release.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, it's released.
Yep.
They probably was at work. The boss called overtime.
Which is, and the reason we're laughing, Bearcat fans, is because Stu oftentimes gets called into overtime.
Yeah.
When he's at work.
Exactly.
Not 2 days before saying, hey, on Sunday you got overtime. On Sunday they tell you.
They tell you on Sunday.
When they got you there.
And you know what? That'll make you cuss Trae Young out for no reason.
Because you're not actually saying F Trae Young. It's actually directed at the people that gave you overtime.
It's your boss that gave you overtime. But you can't say it to your boss, because you don't want to get fired. But, Trae Young, everybody doing it. But seriously, that's what it is a lot of times, too. It's a combination of all those things. Plus, you've been drinking, and you're like, you know what? I'm going to enjoy myself and take my anger out on Westbrook.
Right. Dump popcorn.
I wish I could do this to my boss. So I'm going to dump popcorn.
But let me ask you this. So what, the process, right? You're in the stands. and you've got a whole box of popcorn. And by the way, when you go to sporting events,
It ain't cheap.
It ain't cheap. That was an $8 box
That
of
was
popcorn.
$8 right there.
That was a $2 box of popcorn that they charged you $8 for.
Yep.
Right? Mm-hmm. And you dump that. Like, what goes through your mind that goes, all right, here he comes. You know what? I'm gonna dump this on his head. So I have this theory. Okay? Follow me on this, Stu and Colin. Mm-hmm. I have this theory. Every person in their head has a committee. Okay? You have a committee in your head. So when you think about doing something, it has to run by that committee. Okay? Now, so for example, let's say that I walk outside and it's raining and I look outside. My committee tells me, go back in, get a raincoat. So you have a committee that helps you make decisions, right? Mm-hmm. Some people have different folks on their committee that aren't very, very good.
Yeah.
Not very good.
Yeah, not good.
So this guy that's thinking about dumping popcorn on Westbrook, the fact that he thinks through, I'm going to dump on this crazy individual who's hurt. I'm going to dump popcorn on his head. For the fact that his committee in his head goes, you know what? That's a great idea, John. Why don't you go ahead and do that? We all have a committee, Stu.
That's good. That's very good. Very good.
Now,
it's true.
It's true. Over time, your committee could change and mature. And you make better decisions. Because we all do that. We all think.
Even if it's a split second. Even if it's a split second.
Yep. You think this could be good, this could be bad, it could be whatever it is.
Yeah.
But it's that committee.
And when you get to drinking,
if you get to drinking, you got Meta World Peace, Dennis Rodman. They're on your committee, right? Your committee changes as you drink. And poor decisions then.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Now you coach high school and AAU. Mm-hmm. I run an AAU basketball program.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Stu. So with us doing that, we deal with young people. And obviously a lot of people talk about AAU, and a lot of people that talk about AAU don't really go to AAU events and know really what AAU is about. They just see video clips, hear things. There's so much good in AAU. Mm-hmm. Far more good than what's portrayed sometimes. You see AAU games. I think there was one not long ago where I believe a coach was trying to fight another team's player, and then it spilled on the court. That was just on Instagram not long ago.
Yeah.
And you see that quite a bit. Stu, have you, as we talk about fans being unruly, have you had any incidents in high school or in AAU that you can remember of just craziness with people outside of your players and coaches?
Yeah, actually, it was kind of recent. The tournament games for school ball, it can get intense, and it was after COVID, fans sometimes not used to being there, they're excited. We had one person say some crazy stuff, and everybody looked like, wow.
Was this at a varsity game?
Varsity game.
This is a varsity high school boys game.
Yep.
In Cincinnati.
Yep, absolutely. It was a tournament game, and everybody turned like, oh my goodness. Like, I had to, tell somebody like, it's all good, just let it go, because it was uncalled for, but people get excited, man, and it's like, you got to calm down. We had another incident, junior high. It's not even high school, junior high. But that was more of a student section type thing. So
okay, yeah, we know the student sections don't always make
younger kids, man.
They don't make the best.
Yeah, they
decisions.
don't know no better. But adults
should know better.
It's a shame.
And to all the Bearcat fans that are listening, if you're an adult and you have children, you're married, you go to the Bearcat games, football and basketball. I mean. And I've been to a lot of Bearcat and football, and I've not really seen anything get out of hand that I've seen. But we got to do better, because listen, from a college standpoint, and Bearcat fans, listen to this: that stuff impacts recruiting, right? So let's say that an opposing team, Memphis or Houston come into Fifth Third Arena for a game, and our fans are acting dumb, and it gets out that our fans were saying crazy stuff, blah, blah, blah. Recruits see that. Recruits are like, I'm not going to Cincinnati, right?
Yeah.
So we've got to be better with that, and I don't mean kind of really beat that one down a little bit, but I just was disturbed, and that was just all that stuff I thought was just this week.
I know.
I'm not talking about a culmination of January to May 27th. This was 1 week.
This is 1 week, and
the week's not over.
It's not over. And it makes me think, for the high school season.
Oh.
I'm like, man, I wonder if it's gonna get a little crazy. Because once again, people, because of COVID, stuff opening back up and stuff like that, it's getting people riled up, and I hope I don't get hit in the head with something, man, because
hey, I'm gonna warn everybody out there now. If you dump popcorn on Stu Holt's head, there's gonna be some consequences and repercussions. There's gonna be some furniture moving.
I'm like, oh, good.
I'm like, good. Now that's not a good day.
That's not the good you want.
That's not the good you
want.
That's
not the good you want.
Speaking of. We talk about fans, which is short for fanatics. One of the important things for fans, fanatics, is merchandise. They're big into rocking their Bearcat gear, their hats, their shirts, and all that. And I spoke a little bit on the last podcast about our apparel side of the business for my basketball teams. So we have an apparel site called Shine One Apparel. Now, on there, you can now purchase. You ready for this, Cruzy? You can now purchase the shirt that I'm wearing, the Bearcat basketball T-shirt, the official T-shirt. And the only reason that I put it on the site, I think it's $20. I had some friends, some close friends that are out of town, and they wanted to be able to purchase the shirt and wear while they're in, California and Florida. So I wanted to make it available to them, and I had some other Bearcat fans, so they wanted some. So that's available. I'll make sure I put the information out there if you're interested in purchasing the T-shirt for the podcast. We also have I got it sitting over here. So I have a graphic designer, Glenn Riley, and he came up with this shirt idea, and I was like, man, I love that. We need to pump that out there. And so I know our YouTube channel right now is recording with Cruzy, and you can see it. I got some peanut butter on there. I don't know how I got that on the shirt, but this is the Heart of Cincy shirt. You like that, Stu?
It's good. I like it.
This is the kind of the Bearcat colorway. We have we're going to do an orange and black, a little Houday colorway. We're going to do an FC Cincinnati colorway. We got a 3D colorway for my Shining Star program. So that shirt will also be available on there, and we're gonna have some neat Bearcat shirts coming out, which Bearcat fans will love. Kind of some really cool throwback themed T-shirts that I think are going to do really, really well, and Bearcat fans are going to love. So once again, you can go to our website, which is shiningstarsports.org, and click on the Shine One Apparel site, and that will lead you into our apparel line. So you'll see all our Shining Star gear. You'll see the Heart of Cincy shirt and the Bearcat basketball T-shirt. Also, another quick update. We are still waiting for Audible to get back to us so we can get this Walk of a Lifetime audiobook launched. It is a long process, Stu.
Very long process. Longer than what we expected, but
yep.
We'll get there. So
for my next audiobook, which, by the way, I do have planned, we better get started on that like yesterday. So to be ready for like 2025.
2030.
Man. But I got to give a shout out to Colin Cruzy, and he helped record. We've got 10 videos that are going to lead up to the audiobook, which actually, Stu, it was your idea for these promotional videos, which I absolutely loved. It kind of goes back through you know, the story of my basketball career and leads up to, you know, the Walk of a Lifetime audiobook. So shout out Colin Cruzy. Shout out Stu Holt for the idea. And Cruzy, we must remind Stu.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. I know what you're about to say.
Stu comes up with the idea, but doesn't show up to help record it when it is freezing. First of all, it snowed. There was hail. There was freezing rain. You could and Cruzy couldn't wear shorts. Like,
wow.
You know it's bad where Cruzy's not wearing shorts.
Absolutely.
I mean, we had people looking at us like, "Why are you outside?" Yeah. I'm like, "We gotta and we're shivering. Like, I got like icicles coming off my bald head, and I'm like, "We gotta finish these videos. This Stu told us to do, and Stu didn't show up. Ain't that a? I'll tell you what,
y'all did good though. Y'all did good.
They are excellent. I'm so excited to release these videos. Also, another thing I wanted to say really quickly, and I'm going to read a couple of these off. For a lot of the Bearcat fans out there that have young children, boys and girls, I have a bunch of basketball camps that are coming up, which are called our Shine Training basketball camps for the summer of 2021. We have several locations. We're doing Mercy Healthplex Anderson, Mercy Healthplex West Claremont, the Tri-Health Fitness and Pavilion in Blue Ash, Mercy Fairfield, and also Seven Hills High School. So we're going to do 9 total basketball camps. We've got ages 5 through 9. We're also doing a special camp at Tri-Health for 10 to 15-year-olds. So if you're interested in that, you can shoot me an email at email to info@shiningstarsports.org, and I'll get you all the information regarding the basketball camp. They're good camps. Usually have some guest speakers, have some former players are going to stop in, like usual, some former Bearcat basketball players, and speak to the kids. So it's always a good time. Now, next week, I have a meeting with a potential new sponsor for the Bearcat Basketball Podcast. And I'm excited for this because it's going to be a great opportunity for us to do some live podcast at this particular establishment. So stay tuned. I'll have more details very soon. Before we segue into our next thing, I want to say I'm very excited about a project that we're working on. And Colin, if you can kind of come this way, Colin was helpful in helping us launch this project. So part of my Shining Star Sports organization, for those that don't know, I have over 20 AU basketball teams, and we've decided that we're going to do a yearly give back. So we're going to give back to the community every year, and I think what a great tie-in for us as a basketball organization. We're going to raise money every single year to purchase shoes to give to the kids at the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Cincinnati. So this year, for 2021, we're going to raise $8,000, and we're going to purchase 150 shoes, brand new pair of Nike shoes, through our partnership with East Bay, and they'll be delivered to every boy and girl at the Avondale Boys and Girls Club. Now, there are 7 total Boys and Girls Clubs in Greater Cincinnati. Our goal is to eventually raise enough money to purchase 2,000 shoes for every boy and girl at every Boys and Girls Club in Greater Cincinnati. Now, we recently went over and filmed a video to kind of launch this. We haven't put the video out. It's going to come out very soon. But, Colin, another excellent job you did.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Putting that together. It was cool to kind of go over there and see all the boys and girls at the club that really need, in that particular community, need a lot of attention, a lot of love, and man, it just seemed like a really loving place.
For sure, and it was just a great environment. It was very a lighthearted place to be, and everybody's having a good time.
And what was crazy is, so we were filming the video, and I went to. They were working on that art project.
Yeah. They all had like their little easels, I guess. They're all painting and having some snacks.
Yep,
all that good stuff.
And I said to him, I said, hey, we're going to go in the basketball gym, because they have a basketball gym in there. And I said, I need some people to come and film a video. I said, maybe 2 or 3 you can come in there. I mean, we had all of them jump up and run in there.
Every single kid in the entire place was in that gym after you said that.
It was crazy. They love basketball. and I've always said this, I think of all the sports, I think Stu would agree with this. Listen, I'm a huge tennis fan, right? I go to the Western Southern, I go to Reds games. I love the Reds. Boxing is one of my favorite sports. I love watching football, the Bearcats football team. But I think basketball is the one sport, though. There's just something about hoop that brings, it kind of brings everyone together. And think about this. What other sport, and there are probably others, but looking at a major sport, can you really practice and get better on your own with sweat equity on your own? So if I give Stu Holt a basketball and I say, go get better, Stu could go find an outdoor court, take that basketball. He could work on dribbling, shooting, passing on his own. He could find a wall. He can work on so many different aspects of the game on his own. Football, there's things you can work on, but somebody's going to need to throw you the ball. If you're throwing the ball, somebody's going to need to, there are things to it. Tennis, you can hit it against the wall for so you need somebody. Baseball, and all those sports I just named are very expensive sports. Basketball, you can go buy a basketball hoop, like a cheap basketball, and go find an outdoor hoop and get better at the game, right? So I think the attraction of basketball is at, I think, one of the highest levels ever. And I think Steph Curry really changed the game. Like, I think there are two players that drastically changed the game of basketball. Obviously, Michael Jordan. He made it a global sport. And then Steph Curry. I think Steph Curry, and give the mic to Stu because I want to get his opinion on this. I think Steph Curry changed the game from a standpoint where you think of the NBA, you think of the Michael Jordans, the Kobe Bryants, the LeBron James, guys that are physically not like the rest of the world. They are a small percentage of the world look like those guys, have that athleticism, are born with those gifts. Steph Curry looks like a dude I saw in the grocery store earlier today. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
yeah,
what he does on the court, and he made so many kids think, I can do that.
Mm-hmm. Sure did. You know, you start seeing a transition of everybody want to shoot from half court. Man. You know, everyone want to shoot from half court and be a three-point shooter. But now he really did change the game because, like you said, kids were like, well, I might not be able to do a windmill or a 360 or between the legs, but I can do that.
Right.
I can shoot that ball. I can do that. Anybody can do that, right? And so, he changed the game. He changed it.
No question. So I think, you look at all these kids and they now see an athlete like Steph Curry who, man, it's like he's not that big. I can be. So when we go to the Boys and Girls Club, we go places. I think kids, he gave them a lot of hope. I can play this game, which I think is inspiring. I love it.
Oh, man, yeah, it's great.
Right? Anything to enhance our game. So, Colin, thank you for shooting that video. Can't wait to put it out there. I think it's fantastic. You did a great job.
Thank you.
But now, there's some people that listen to the podcast to get information on the Bearcats, and there's some people that don't give a crap about that. They just want to hear Colin Cruzy. Now, first we started with Colin Cruzy comedy. But then you're like the triple threat.
Triple threat?
You're the triple threat.
Okay.
Right? There's so many things you do. One of which is you love music.
I do love music.
Right? So last episode, we premiered your music debut on the podcast.
Correct.
You played
some Kings of Leon. Kings of Leon, that's right.
What was most impressive about that was not just your mastering the song in such a short period and being able to perform it, but when Stu came in,
oh man,
to and I don't know if fans really knew that was Stu in the background with the vocals. I mean, it was it was impressive.
I had goosebumps when I heard Stu come in. So,
I did too. Yeah. I listened to it a couple times after, and I was like, Stu's impressive. So I challenged you to come back today, and we're going to have to probably make this a weekly thing.
Okay.
And I challenged you to come back, and I was very excited to hear about the opportunity of you doing some Justin Bieber.
Right.
One of the great artists of our decade. And I know Bieber's a tough one to master.
But unfortunately, I do not have Bieber today. Shine Media has been keeping me really busy this last week.
Yeah.
So I did not have enough time to get the song down, unfortunately. But and that kind of comes to like I don't want to come and like have the song like you know.
You can't have to Bieber.
Yeah, I can't, especially Bieber. I wouldn't want to do that to Bieber or you. So
which is one and the same.
You are.
Which is one and the same.
Yeah.
Now, you can't disappoint the fans.
Of course, yeah.
So you have to come with something. What do you have today for us?
I have a little John Mayer for you guys.
Okay, I'm very excited about that because if and I think I said this earlier in a podcast, maybe 2 podcasts ago. There are 3 artists that I want to hear you do: Kings of Leon, Justin Bieber, and John Mayer.
We got 2 down, so.
We're about to have 2
almost
down.
2 down.
So you're gonna do John Mayer. So I'm actually excited. I'm disappointed to hear that you don't have Bieber. So next episode,
next time we'll be ready to go.
You might have to give us a. You might have to do a what they call it, a medley maybe of Biebs, to where you kind of like you're doing one song and then like maybe one of the lines triggers you to switch to the other song.
Kind of like a mashup, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
I can look into that.
So look into that and get that done.
For sure.
So today we're gonna go with a little John Mayer.
Yes, sir.
Once you get
ready?
your and by the way, folks out there, Bearcat Nation, so people they name their instruments, and his guitar is named Walnut.
This is Walnut right here.
Now Stu has a car, and his car is named Black Cherry. Good. Black Cherry, because the car's black. And it's a Cherokee. Black Cherry. So apparently we just need names for all of our objects that we have. I'm gonna give my laptop a name, and so just to start naming shit.
Okay.
So what John Mayer song are we doing tonight?
We're doing "Waiting on the World to Change."
Ooh.
I thought
why
that'd
that song?
For a couple of reasons. One reason, I know the last time that I think I was in a car with you, that was the first song you played. So I was like, okay,
really?
Putting on some John Mayer. Okay.
When was wait a minute.
That was a couple months ago, probably.
Was this when we were going to Corritos?
Yeah, it was.
Yes,
it was.
I did play John Mayer. That was from his. That was from the Where the Light Is. That the live performance
album?
in L.A. That was from. I played the version from that. I love John Mayer's music. What was his last album? The Search of Everything?
Yeah, Search for Everything. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. You're a Mayer fan?
Oh, I'm a huge Mayer fan. He actually inspired me to start playing the guitar again. Because
really?
I played a little bit when I was younger, like 8th grade to freshman year of high school. And I kind of just put it down because the hardest part about learning the guitar is the first 2 weeks, because you got to get through the pain of getting your fingers used to it and all that. So I started listening to John Mayer, and he inspired me. So I picked it back up.
Now, John Mayer is a very interesting guy.
He is. He's a character.
He is a character. You know, he has dated. I don't know if you know this, Stu. He has dated a lot of women. His roster of women is like, it's deep. I mean, I think is he still dating Katy Perry?
Not anymore. I think they broke up.
Did he date Taylor Swift?
Almost every pop star.
Man,
he gets around. He gets around.
Hey, John. Hey,
he gets around.
But you know what? If you think about it, a lot of great artists had some issues. There was something deep rooted. Like I heard that John Mayer, maybe when he was 17. He had like a heart issue. Did you ever heard this story?
I didn't know that.
He had some kind of heart issue, went to the hospital, and while he was in the hospital, he started writing. And that led to him, doing, I think he was playing the guitar prior, but he started really writing songs, and I think he went through some mental issues. Obviously, he had a battle with drinking and stuff like that. I know
for sure.
I think he's been sober. Do you know, he's always been a solo artist, but did you know the name of his first band he was in?
Oh, I do not. I knew it was with another artist that made it big, and I forget what band he played in. His friend I'm pretty sure it was in that band, but I don't know the name of it.
Villanova Junction.
Villanova Junction.
That's they got the name of his band off of an old Jimi Hendrix song.
Okay.
There was an old Jimi Hendrix song. I believe it was called Villanova Junction Blues. Was the original name, but then they named their band Villanova Junction.
That first part.
Huh? Yes,
Okay.
just the first part.
Gotcha.
And Jimi Hendrix, an amazing.
Oh, I mean, I think he's the greatest guitarist of all time. I mean,
untouchable.
He's untouchable.
He's almost too good to even listen to.
It's almost like
Jesus,
was he even like a real person? Like I don't know.
He'd be like if he played baseball, it'd be a home run every time he was at bat. It's just like I'm not watching it because he's hitting a home run. You know what's coming. Right?
For sure.
Let me ask you this real quick. And you know, I obviously I knew all this useless knowledge in my head about John Mayer, so I'm a fan. Some of your favorite John Mayer songs, maybe?
I mean, this is up there. Slow Dancing in a Burning Room is definitely probably my favorite. That's my number one for sure. That one just hits, man. That one hits. He's got a lot of songs I like. I love that singer songwriter kind of vibe. So and he's one of the best at that. So
I love Neon. I love Vultures. And Slow Dancing in a Burning Room is definitely a top 5 Mayer song for me. Okay, enough of me talking about John Mayer. I can go on and on. You know what I think we need to do?
What's that?
I think, Stu, can you scoot this way a little bit more? Because folks, I know folks on YouTube will see this, but those listening we only have 2 mics here. So I'm going to put the mic, so this will be the first time that Stu and I will be background vocalists. Okay? Can we be your background vocalist?
Yeah, of course. I was hoping you guys were going to hop in, so.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay.
All right, you guys ready?
Well, you know I got to lead you in.
Oh, okay, that's cool, yeah. Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bearcat fans, we are now about to listen to the tunes of Colin Cruzy doing John Mayer.
Me and all my friends, we were all misunderstood. They say we stand for nothing else. There's no way we ever could. We see everything going wrong in the world and those who lead it. We just feel like we don't have the means to rise above and beat it. So we keep waiting on the world to change. Yeah, we keep waiting on the world to change. It's hard to beat the system when we're standing at a distance. So we keep waiting on the world to change. Yeah, we keep waiting on the world to change. We keep on waiting on the world to change. Waiting on the world to change. Waiting on the world to change.
Good. Colin Cruzy, ladies and gentlemen. Waiting on the world to change.
Good. I thought that was a good song for this episode too, because we've been talking about people's actions, and so I thought that kind of tied in.
Very good.
Yeah.
Good.
The song's about people kind of changing their ways. So
that is excellent.
I think things worked out for the best there. That we went with that song for sure.
Very well. That's very good. You did very well with that. Once again, so as your music career takes off. I'm going to take a lot of credit for it. Okay? Just so you know, 10%, right?
Right, yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, we talked about that.
10%. So, how were the background vocals?
You guys were great, yeah. And it actually kind of threw me off because it sounded you guys were harmonizing really well, and I was like, damn, okay, wait a second.
Well, I tried to come in with the bass. Right. I tried to be a deeper, and he just was like the ultimate. Yeah. He's like Luther. Like.
Okay, now. That's what they said.
That's what they said?
Yeah.
That was excellent. So next episode, we are going to do...
I'll have some Bieber for you.
A mashup?
I'll have some Bieber for you.
Okay. I'm going to be waiting for this.
Okay.
Colin Cruzy, thank you once again.
As always, thanks for having me play.
No problem. Actually, there's some people that probably wouldn't listen to the podcast if you didn't play. They would just turn it off.
You think so?
Or not listen. I think you're starting to get a fan base.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And then what you do is, so here's how it works. You build up, right? You build up this fan base, and then you hit them with the banana bread. Then you
I'm waiting for. Yeah.
Then you sell the. You got to have a name for the banana bread.
I got to wait for the right moment, you know.
Yep.
And pull the trigger on that.
Then you've got your own line of like shorts.
Yep.
For the winter time.
That'll be coming.
Yeah. So you have like wintertime shorts. Maybe they're double mesh, and then the single mesh for the summer. It's part of a marketing.
If you wanted to collab, we could do like a Bearcat or a Shining Star, like Bearcat basketball podcast, like shorts, you know. Looking like I got 5 heads right now.
See, this is so far.
We're going left field now.
This is so far above. This is something we're just gonna have to really.
You know, we'll talk. My people will get with
have your people.
And
yep.
Yeah.
Just have them text me.
That was my rough draft, so
Yeah, I like it.
I'll be in touch. Yeah.
This segment is sponsored by the College of Arts and Sciences at the University of Cincinnati. They now have a flexible bachelor's degree that will allow you to graduate conveniently and affordably. You won't lose any credit or have to start over. All right. Last episode, I talked about my meeting with John Cunningham, the athletic director, and also talked about Wes Miller and his staff. And we kind of talked about, putting together a staff in 2021 for college basketball and how important that is because of recruiting. So this episode, what I wanted to do is I want to give you an update on some former players and what they're doing to get into coaching. And this kind of came about over the weekend. I got a text message exchange with Kyle Washington, and Kyle Washington will be joining the Bearcat staff, I believe, as a GA. It's going to be great to have Kyle Washington back roaming the hallways at Fifth Third Arena and being part of the program. And for those that missed it, I had an episode, I think it was episode 64, where I interviewed Kyle Washington. And actually, in the interview, I told him, you need to get into coaching. I think you would be a great coach. And the funny thing is, when Kyle texted me, he was like, man, what's so crazy is you told me in an interview I need to get into college coaching. He actually mentioned that. So Kyle told me he's going to call me once everything gets solidified, and he wanted to catch up and talk. So I'm excited to catch up and talk with Kyle Washington, and it's going to be great to have him back on the Bearcat sideline. Also, 2 guys that I'm going to have on the podcast next week, one of which is James White, and the other is Ronald Allen, 2 former Bearcats. James White is currently coaching right now, and also he's getting ready to do the Big 3 again, the Big 3 tournament, which is a big deal. And I think his team's going to be in Vegas playing when I'm in Vegas in August. So he and I are going to meet up. And I'm hoping, I got to keep my fingers crossed, I get to meet the guy I've been wanting to meet for a long time. Stu and Colin, do you know who this is? Now, there aren't a lot of people I want to meet. Mike Tyson is one of them.
I was going to say Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder's the other one.
Okay.
I don't know how you got Stevie Wonder out of James White in the
Vegas,
Big 3.
So anything happens in Vegas.
That's true. That's a good point. Stevie Wonder... So one time I was at a club in Miami. So my mother's friend that she taught with for years, my mother's friend, her son lives in Miami and is a guitar player, and he's a studio guitar player. So he's played on Ariana Grande, Britney Spears, Enrique Iglesias, like all those, I can't even pronounce everybody. He's played for a lot of people, a studio. But so we went to a club in Miami. This was years ago, and a lot of musicians were there, and that's why he went. And when we got there, Stevie Wonder had been there, and he left.
Oh, man.
And they said he was sitting there, and he had, like, women around him. I'm like, man, could you imagine if I had a picture of Stevie with some women, like, hanging out, and he can't see them?
I'd be framed above your
right? Well, I've heard he could see.
I've heard.
I don't know, but I've seen him take off his glasses. His eyes don't look. They don't look like he can see. They don't. They don't look like they work. Hey, my favorite artist of all time. We can't disrespect the great Stevie Morris. Stevie Wonder's real name is Stevie Morris, by the way. And Stevie was born. We weren't born the same year, but he was born hours before I was He was born May 11th. I'm May 12th. Anyway, the third person that I want to meet. What was that? You got excited there. Okay, give me a little build up.
A little build up.
Who do you think it is, Stu?
I think it's Ice Cube.
No, it's not Ice Cube.
I got my second guess.
Okay.
Nate Robinson.
Nate Robinson?
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
I named Mike Tyson, Stevie Wonder. Give the microphone back to Colin Cruzy. Cruzy, take a guess on who I want to meet. Okay. Nate Robinson? Oh, I get why you said Nate Robinson, because he's a shoe collector.
And he plays in the Big Three.
All right, it's just no. That's completely a top three person I want to meet of all time. Like,
I didn't hear the top 3 part.
Okay, this is a top. Okay. This is a top 3, and there's a reason.
Tyson.
Stevie Wonder.
And this is okay.
This is the third, and the reason I want to meet him is because of the story behind me walking on to the Bearcats. He influenced how I prepared to be a walk-on. I'll tell a quick story, and then you guess who it is. So, when I was preparing to be a walk-on, my mentor, Jerome Gray, he told me, he says, hey, you need to watch this guy. Okay, hold on. Don't say it. He says, you need to watch this guy. You need to watch the dog in him, every move. So I studied this guy. I have a notebook in which I learned every move. I learned his footwork. I could tell you every part of his game, and it's not Michael Jordan. I've met Michael Jordan. But this guy influenced how I approached my mental to play, to have that dog in me to play for the Bearcats. Stu Holt, who is it?
I think I have the answer.
Who is it?
You like that?
Yes.
Allen Iverson.
That's right.
Good.
That's right. The answer.
Good.
AI.
Good.
So I want to meet Allen Iverson. All I want to say to him is, I know he gets fanboyed all the time. He's got all these fans. I just want to say to him, AI, thank you. Here's how you influence my game. And I don't ever ask anybody, for autographs. I'm not a believer in autographs. I would love for him, the notebook I have with all of his moves, like I got the footwork drawn out in this notebook. That would be cool to have him sign that notebook. And I don't ask for autographs, but I do want to meet him, and so people that know him have told him the story, and that I want to meet him. So at least that's a good thing. Now, whether he remembers that, but I'm sure he hears a lot of stuff. So anyway, I'm putting a lot of pressure on James White to get me introduced to AI, and that would be awesome. So we're going to have James White next. I'm going to call James White in to check in on how he's doing with coaching and preparation for the Big Three. So I'm going to see him in August. The other one is Ronald Allen, who played for Mick Cronin. Part of Mick Cronin's, well, actually played for Andy Kennedy and Mick Cronin. He's currently coaching. We're going to do a little check-in with him. Ronald Allen is a fascinating person, really, really good guy. I ran into him, and I think I talked about this on one of the podcasts. I ran into him in L.A. at the Drew League. So we're going to get an update on what he's into, because I think he could be a potential candidate in the future to come back and be an assistant for the Bearcats. So we're going to catch up with James White and Ronald Allen next week. Another update, Dermar Johnson will be joining the Bearcat staff, which I know a lot of Bearcat fans are aware of that. I don't think they've solidified the logistics of what he's going to be doing and all that good stuff, but Dermar, a.k.a. Slim, is a quality individual, great dude. And I told Wes Miller called me one day, and he asked me about some of the different guys that had applied to be an assistant for him and just be on staff. And I said a lot of good things about every person that he talked about, because I think a lot of the former players that he mentioned all have, I think, there's aspects of what they do that are great. Dermar checked a lot of boxes, and I told Wes, you will be so impressed after meeting Dermar. And Wes, he texted me, gosh, maybe a week later after he met with Dermar, and he was like, you were right. That dude is impressive. I'm hiring him. So hopefully that all works out, and Dermar Johnson will be joining the Bearcat staff. So we'll have Kyle Washington and Dermar on that staff. So we talked about college. Let's talk a little bit about the step below that, which is high school basketball. One thing that's occurred just the last couple weeks, which I'm super, super excited about, and that is 2 former Bearcats are now joining the high school coaching ranks as head coaches here in Cincinnati, Ohio. So this past weekend, I ran into Cashmere Wright. Everybody remembers Cashmere Wright at an AAU tournament, and he's now headed to be the head coach of Clark Montessori. I'm super excited for Cashmere. Really great. Cashmere is a very, very smart person. Every time I sit and talk with him, like, he thinks like a point guard. He just has a great perspective on a lot of things. So I told him I wanted to catch up with him and give him a call and talk about his new gig as the head coach of Clark.
Bearcat fans, I'd like to welcome in this next Bearcat great, played for the Bearcats from 2009 to 2013. He wore the jersey number 1 with the red and black. I'd like to welcome in my guy, Cashmere Wright. What up, man? How you been?
What's up, man? I've been good, man. Appreciate you having me.
Oh, no problem, man. You got some exciting things going on. I ran into you this past weekend at an AAU event, and we had a really good convo, man. And I'm very, very excited.
That.
Yeah, we had a good convo. And I'm excited about your new job, man. And if you want to fill people in on what you got going on.
So I just accepted the head coaching job at Clark Montessori. So that's a tall feat upon itself, and also took another leap in trying to do something that you've been doing for a long time, as far as like AAU-wise going.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a pretty busy summer, and it's going to be a pretty busy year coming.
Yeah, for sure. And tell me really quickly how the AAU program's going.
It's going pretty well. I didn't know what to expect coming into the year. Of course, not really doing it. I mean, I did it before, but not actually coaching the team and making sure everything is right myself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a bit of a learning experience of learning what not to do, where to go, and also build relationships with other coaches around. So that's pretty much a full-time job there, for real.
Absolutely. I know all about that. Let's talk a little bit about this head coaching job you've got with Clark Montessori. So how did that come about?
So 3 years ago, I was at Clark, and I had to leave because I had my son, so I had to go to a better job. Then I got myself back right, and then last year I came back just to do assistant coaching. And during that process, our head coach this year, his son is going to the 7th grade, and he lives in Sycamore.
Mm-hmm.
So, he just felt like that, it was a lot more, the kids need a lot more time, a coach that can give a lot more to them than what he had to offer at that time. So he kind of handed the reins over to me and the AD, and I'm appreciative of Mr. Wiles and Higgins at Clark for giving me the opportunity and trusting me, to take him on.
Yeah, absolutely. So give me kind of your vision and your mission statement with your program.
So we talked about. So what I've been doing right now is just basically trying to build my mission statement on what I want to do.
Okay.
Because like you said, that's probably one of the most important things, and what's really going to stick out to the players and to the parents when they hear about our program. So as far as I go, I probably want my mission statement to be how I personally am, which is basically about, consistency and how we're going to work, hard working, and things like that. Just making sure we do things the right way and handle it the right way. And also my sticking point is going to be where I came from, and that's defense.
Mm-hmm.
So It's pretty much, a working process on that type of subject, but I'm getting there.
Now, let me ask you this. So we just, Wes Miller just got the head coaching job at the University of Cincinnati, and one of the immediate things he had to do not only was to jump in the portal, recruit kids, get kids to his program, but on top of that, he had to build a staff at the same time. So with you coming in as the head coach of Clark, you have to put together a staff. So how do you go about putting together a staff, and that staff obviously has to sing the same song that you're singing in terms of your mission and your vision for the program?
Right. That's the hard part because, everybody doing interviews and everything like that, everybody's always going to say the right thing. Mm-hmm. and try to give off that vibe that, that of course they're the right person. But to me, it's just about, that feel, like you told me, if the feel ain't right and you don't trust it, then you should know, that ain't it. And don't be hesitant to make decisions.
Yep.
So for right now, I've been lucky enough to come across some great coaches, and I'm building my staff day by day, just around people that I feel can make me better, along with I can make them better. But also we can start a program from where we are and build it back to where we need to be. And my year 5 plan is by the 5th year that I'm here, we should be able to win a state championship. So most of the people that I'm interviewing, I'm letting them know up front that's the goal. So if that's the goal, then we also know that's the work we got to put in to get there, and that's everybody.
Absolutely. Do you plan to have any former Bearcats on your staff?
So I'm working on getting Jeremiah Davis down here.
Okay.
So that's my one Bearcat. That I can. But Alex Sticks is on my marksman. He's on my staff as well.
Okay.
So Alex was the manager at UC when I was there.
Sticks.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, that's a couple, and yeah, I think that's the only Bearcats I got.
Okay. I like it. What do you, in terms of, so what's your philosophy as a head coach in terms of player development? That's become such a big term. And being, as I think about your career, I think about how skilled you were as a player. So what's your philosophy on player development?
Oh, it's a simple thing. So coming up, that's really what I'm doing for the past 4 or 5 years is basically training kids. Mm-hmm. So I've kind of understood, I kind of understand now that that's probably the most important thing to me. So the first thing that I did about developing my kids was the most important coaches to me that I found were my junior high coaches. Mm-hmm. Because those are the people, the 7th and 8th graders, before they get to high school, if you can get them with great coaches ahead of time and show them how you work, because everybody thinks that, they can play basketball, but then nobody wants to really work, what it, the hard work it actually takes to be successful. Mm-hmm. So making sure that we preach that to them while they're young, and not wait till they get in high school and now we got to develop these kids. So my main thing with developing kids is make sure I start them young, and make sure I teach them, the way how we want to play and how they're supposed to prep, because that's the most important thing, being consistent with prepping and being consistent with actually being in the gym all day long, because that's what it takes to be successful.
Yep. So how do you, you talked about kind of the future of your program. How do you approach it, Cash, when you're looking at the immediate? So starting year 1, you obviously have to make sure you have realistic expectations for your team. And, you're not going in saying, I'm winning a national, a state championship right away. We're winning How do you approach that? Obviously, you got to look at your returning guys, and you got to evaluate the program. So how do you approach year 1?
So it turned out to be I'm a big believer in God. It turned out to be a blessing. The same kids that, my returning, the starters from the last team that didn't graduate actually played on my AAU program, and I coached them all year. Mm-hmm. So I got a chance to actually build that relationship with them and build that chemistry with those guys and things like that. And of course, we all understand, even them understand that, the first year may not go as, as everybody wants it and things like that. But we understand that if we work hard, that, you know, we're pretty young. We don't have many seniors on our team. So even the coming year, I think we're only going to have one or two seniors.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, we're going to be pretty young, but that's a pretty good thing for me because I get a chance to actually develop and build my team, you know, for year on and year out.
That's good. Now speaking of that, I want to segue into the Bearcat basketball program. We have a new coach, Wes Miller, with the Bearcats, and as we talk about the future and, you know, building a team, he seems to be doing a really good job of getting players there, building his staff, kind of getting the energy built up. So outside looking in, what are your thoughts so far about Wes Miller and what he's done?
Man, to be honest with you, I like him, not love him. I like him so far. I've talked to Chris. I've talked to Wes. I haven't been able to make it out there yet like they asked me to, but I'm going to get out there.
Good.
I like the way how they approached it. You know, not to speak anything about the last coach, but, you know, I felt we was a little more alumni, a little more isolated than I feel like we are now. You know, he made sure to make it, you know, for somebody who just take a college, you know, you just take a college job in some area, you know, to reach out to all the former players and get in contact with them and get their number. You know, that means a lot. You know what I mean? You know, he invited, you know, talk to Chris. He invited me and my kids out there to come talk to coach and visit and stuff. You know, that went a long way for me. You know, that just shows that, you know, he understands what it means to what it will take for him to be a Bearcat, man, and that's what he want to be.
And I agree with you 100%. You know, you got to bridge that gap because there's so many. If you think about the former players, there's so many that just have like, you know, different coaches. Like you come from the, you know, the Mick Cronin era, and then you've got the Bob Huggins era, you got the Tony Yates era, and for that short period, you got the John Brannon era. So Wes Miller has to look at all those and go, look, we're all Bearcats at the end of the day. Yep. It doesn't matter who you played for, and that's been, I think, one of the great things that he is doing is just trying to bring everybody in. It doesn't matter which coach you played for. You're going to come in. We're all Bearcats. So that's great to hear that they reached out to you. So you plan to get over there and check out some games?
Yeah. So like I told him, so when we was talking, I was just getting a job, and I was like, you know, I set up something with him to go up there, and then, you know, day by day, I found new assignments or new responsibilities that I have that I didn't know about. So.
Yep.
So it's a learning process in that way, but just like finding time and making sure that I prioritize things and do things the right way. So when I do get out there, I'm fully covered on my other job.
Yep, I got you, man. Well, no, it's great. It's great to hear you got the job and you're starting that career. I know we had a great conversation. We talked a lot about, you know, building that culture and the mission statement of your program, and I think you're going to do a great job. You're going to knock it out, and it's just, I think it's even sweeter that we've got former players getting involved with coaching, and that's whether it's the high school, the like Kenny Satterfield just got the job at Hughes. We were talking about that in Columbus. You and I were. Yep. And he ended up getting that job. Dermar Johnson is going to be joining the staff at UC. Kyle Washington. Like, it's just great to see everybody kind of, you know, finding their path and getting involved with basketball. It's something I think we're all very, very passionate about. And if you love it, I think you'll do well in it. And I know you love what you do.
Yep, ain't nothing like it, man.
Absolutely. Well, let's do this. First of all, congrats, and let's catch up as we get, you know, into the season. We can rap a little bit about Bearcat hoops. We can also rap a little bit about your season and how you're doing.
That sounds good to me.
That sounds good, brother. Well, hey, good luck, man. Anytime you need anything, you want to bounce some stuff off me, you got my number.
Yes, sir.
All right. I appreciate you coming on, Cash. We're gonna catch up.
All right, sounds good. Appreciate it.
Take care. Yep, no problem. Bye-bye.
All right, that was great to catch up with Cash. Now, also, so first, Cash gets the head coaching job, and then I started hearing rumors that Kenny Satterfield was up for the Hughes High School job. And so I said, oh, man. And immediately I said, oh, I got to call Kenny. But I was traveling back from a AU tournament in Columbus, so I didn't really have time. And all of a sudden, my phone rings. It's Kenny. And I said, what's up? And he says, hey, man, got this new job. So he landed the head coaching job for Hughes High School here in Cincinnati, Ohio. So I told Kenny, I said, hey, man, I want to get you on the podcast, and I want you to talk a little bit about, what you had to do to get that job and just kind of the vision you have for your basketball program. So we're going to give Kenny Satterfield a call and check in on his new head coaching job at Hughes High School.
Bearcat fans, I want to welcome in this Bearcat great, played for Bob Huggins from 1999 to 2001. Number 11, my guy, Kenny Satterfield. What up, K-Sat?
I'm good. How you doing, Meach?
Doing really well, man. Hey, update the Bearcat fans, because I don't think enough of them know. Obviously, you were a great player. Tell them about your family, man. You've got some great kids that are doing great things.
I appreciate that, Meach. I have 3 kids. My daughter's the oldest. She's a sophomore this year at Xavier. My son KJ, he's in the middle. He was a sophomore this year at Oak Hills. And my youngest son is Christopher. He's in 7th grade.
And all hoopers.
All of them besides the youngest one. He hoops when he wants to, and he's doing art right now. So
okay.
Much it.
Good deal, man. Well, you're back in Cincinnati, man, and we're happy to have you back in the Natty. And it's very, very exciting. Very exciting news. It got around yesterday. Everybody's pumped up. You are the new head coach at Hughes High School, man. Congrats.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem. And being what's crazy is like Hughes is right next to UC.
Pretty much on campus.
Right? That's crazy. So tell Bearcat fans how that all went down. What led you to Hughes?
It's a crazy story, but somebody had mentioned my name, I guess, to some people over at Hughes, I guess, as far as me becoming an assistant coach with them. And it went from them reaching out and asking me, will I be interested in, the head coaching position? And I did the interview, and it went well. And, a few days later, they gave me a call and asked if I was, if I was interested in being the next head coach.
Nice. Easy as that.
Pretty much.
I mean, your resume is obviously, worthy of being a head coach. Let me ask you this. So now that you're a head coach, you've got your own program. What's your philosophy and what's your mission statement with your program?
I mean, everybody says the same stuff. Hard work, dedication. My thing is, we're going to be passionate. I'm going to get put a great staff together that's passionate about basketball, that love to be in the gym. So I just want to, find kids that, love to be in the gym, love to be around the game, willing to learn. That's one of the biggest things, being open, because as you know, being a young kid, you think you know everything and you don't.
Yep.
So, just being willing, to learn from some guys that know what they're doing and can help you grow as a player.
Absolutely. You just mentioned staff. Obviously Wes Miller's the new head coach with Cincinnati Bearcats, and he's done a good job of putting a staff together. So you putting your staff together, two-part question. Number one, how do you go about that? And then secondly, any former Bearcats on your staff?
The first part going about it is, reaching out to some guys in the city that, that know the kids real well, that know the city real well. I think I was able to find that in the first assistant I'm going to hire, and that's he is a former Bearcat, Kevin Johnson.
Nice. Yep, KJ.
Yep. So I think he helps me bridge the gap a little bit between these kids because he's still pretty young.
Yep.
He's a Cincinnati guy, and he's also he's commentating for UC. So that's something that the kids can look at too. That you can be successful in basketball without even bouncing the ball. Also. Absolutely.
Great. That's a great hire. KJ's a great dude, and I think he does what I know you're passionate about, and that's player development. and he does a lot of work with individual stuff. And I know how passionate you are about player development. So what's your approach on that from a fundamental standpoint with your kids, man, getting them better individually?
Starting from the beginning, making sure guys can do the basic stuff. Ball handling, shooting, and passing. We don't have to. Everybody doesn't have to be a Steph Curry and shooting from half court, but you do want guys to be able to make open shots.
Right.
So we're going to do a lot of shots up this summer, and a lot of conditioning. Like one of the things I noticed as I got older about a lot of the best teams I've been on. All of the greatest teams I was on, we probably wasn't like the best conditioned teams in the country. As far as from me coming from high school to getting on that UC team, I mean, I just remember having guys on the team that was just unbelievably in shape. Like they can go all day and just hoop. Like a lot of kids can't even do that anymore.
Yep. So is that meaning you guys are going to pick it up full court a lot, push it, attack?
Yeah, we're going to pressure the ball a lot. Like you can't have small guards and sitting back. So if you got some small guards, you need to be pressuring the ball, causing as much havoc as you can, so your size is not affecting you on the other end.
So with you coming in first year, you're inheriting a bunch of guys. How do those players look that you have coming into your program?
I'll get a good feel for everybody on Tuesday. I'm going to start our summer workouts this Tuesday. Okay. I heard of some of the kids already. Starting next week, once I have my full staff, we'll be sitting down every day. We'll probably watch every game they played last year, just to get a feel for what some of the kids are really, really good at, and some of the stuff that they did well. We'll incorporate that into what we're doing. Don't want to just throw a bunch of new stuff at the guys. So we also want to see what they did last year that they like. Want to have fun too. That's one of the main things. I want these kids to enjoy this experience like I'm going to enjoy it.
Yep. And I'm sure with your name and also adding KJ to the staff, and I'm sure you'll add others, and style of play, you're probably in the future going to have a lot of kids that want to come play for you. So that's got to be exciting.
It's very exciting. Having the conversation that I had already with Coach Kevin, it's been about that. It's been, once the word get around, that I'm coaching and, I got him on my staff and, the player development that he already does and the stuff that I do, I think just coming together, like we can really help a lot of these kids, whether they go to Hughes or not, We just want to help the city get better.
Love it. Now, hey, I want to transition into an event you were just recently at. I know Huggins was in town and was over at Milford High School, and I know you were there and several former players were there for a fundraiser. And I know you stay in touch with Hugs, but how was that event?
It was great. I really enjoyed it. I haven't seen some of those guys. I mean, a lot of us haven't seen people in a long time with COVID, but some of them guys I haven't seen since I was a Bearcat. And I mean by that, when I had the uniform on. I mean, right. I haven't seen AD in forever. That was great seeing him.
AD Jackson?
Yeah, that was great seeing him. I never really met Keith before, so that was great, getting to meet some Bearcats that you heard of but never, met. And, it's always a good time just being around Hugs and hearing some of his stories. And those are some great days. We had some good times.
What did you and Hugs talk about?
Oh, man. Hugs is just Hugs, man. I mean, if people, you know him, you know him. Yep. He's a great guy. Hugs, you get around, he tell you he loves you. If you need anything, give him a call. If he can help in any way, he's going to help. I told him I was going up for the job. He told me to give him a call. I'm actually going to go down to West Virginia for a weekend and sit in a couple of his, summer practices and try to steal some of his stuff and bring it to his.
That'll be good. That'll be real good. I also saw you were there with Slim, Dermar, DJ.
Yeah, Dermar Johnson, who's just been hired at us at UC, which is great. I'm happy for him.
Yep.
Steve Logan, my guy, my backcourt mate.
Yep.
Big Corey.
Yep.
Big Corey Blunt. It was a good time. It was a really good time.
That's good. So you just mentioned we just talking about Slim here and him getting hired there. Well, first of all, it's great that they're bringing a former Bearcat on staff, and Kyle Washington, who also played at Cincinnati, is coming on staff. He's a great, great dude. So let me ask you about that. What are your thoughts so far about Coach Wes Miller and what he's done, just in terms of like building a staff, the recruiting? Because now, Kenny, you've got a program, so now you're building something. So I'm sure you're looking at others and emulating things, but you're watching a guy right now having to build a program. So what's your impression so far about Wes Miller and what he's done?
For the first thing, he's very impressive to speak to. He gave me a call. He told me to come by the school and meet him. I thought that was amazing right there off bat. With you just being hired and so much going on that you opened your door up to the Bearcats already. I thought that was amazing. And watching the staff that he put together, the well-rounded staff. He has a lot of experience on his staff. Guys been at big-time programs. They recruited big-time players. I'm pretty sure they got great relationships around the country. He looks like a worker. He looks like a Bearcat, man, to be honest with you.
For sure. Him being young, single, no kids, married to the game.
Yeah, he's fired up too. He's fired up to go. And he's a great guy to talk basketball with. We had a great conversation, talking about the game now, talking about the game how it was back before. I think the Bearcats are going to be very successful going forward with him.
That's good to hear. So you plan to slide on over to some practices and some games this coming season?
Oh, I'll be sliding over there a lot. I'll be having lunch over there with DJ a lot.
You got no choice with that, man. DJ's going to pull you in.
Yeah, I mean, and it's good to see what what the guys on the college level are doing now. Try to do some of that with the high school guys, because hopefully some of these guys will be fortunate enough to play on that level. That's what we're shooting for with our player development, so we can develop some Division I guys, and hopefully a couple of our guys can go right across the street and play at UC.
Man, hey, listen, and when I sat down with Coach Miller, one of the things we talked about was looking at the talent that's in this community and how can the talent that's in this community stay here and play here. And I told him I think that's going to be a very important piece to his success moving forward. So hopefully he does that, and hopefully you have some guys. It's just a natural transition. Just walk across the street, right?
Pretty much. But with that too, the guys got to want to stay home. Especially the better guys in the city. You got to want to play for your city. You got to want to play for your town.
Sure.
It seemed like when I was a Bearcat, and I say as a Bearcat, I'm always a Bearcat. But when I put the uniform on, it seemed like every kid in the city, that's all they wanted to do was be a Bearcat. Absolutely. Before they thought about going anywhere else. It was like Cincy had to tell you no first. Yep. So hopefully we can get it back to that.
And I tell people that in 2021, people don't understand that. Like I always tell them, like, it was really like that. Like,
man,
everybody wanted to play for the Bearcats, and it was like, no. You had to get a no from the Bearcats and then move on.
Man, it was a time that Coach Hugs put me and DJ together with BJ Grove, and we went and we played with his Pittsburgh team. We played in Cleveland. And I guess we played against it was a senior guard. He was pretty good. And I guess he was pissed with me because I was going to Cincinnati and he wanted to be a Bearcat. So it was like, I mean, the kid picked me up full court. He talked so much shit to me. I mean, I enjoyed the game. I busted ass, but I really enjoyed it because I was like, wow, these guys are upset because they feel like we're taking their scholarships going to their hometown school. I was like, shit, that's passion right there.
Right. No, for sure. That's good stuff. Hey, and listen, I want to get you back on the podcast in the future, especially when basketball season starts up. And I want to kind of do two different things. One, I want to talk about, how your team's doing, but then also talk about the Bearcats since you'll be going over there spending some more time, just kind of get your insight with the Bearcats. So we can do that periodically. And what most people don't know, you and I talk quite a bit.
Yes, sir. Yes, we do.
Yeah, we talk all the time, and you called me just the other day. That kind of sparked my brain to think like, man, I got to get him on the podcast. So we do talk quite a bit, and I appreciate your friendship.
Yep, thank you. I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, all good, my man. So, well, listen, man, I'll let you run, man. I know you got family stuff to do, so I appreciate you coming on, and we're gonna definitely catch up soon. I want to slide over and check out, some of your practices and stuff too. I'll be there.
Definitely, doors open.
All right, brother. Appreciate it, man. We'll be in touch.
Yep.
All right, Kenny. Later.
All right. Two really good interviews. Love hearing from Cashmere Wright and Kenny Satterfield, two of our Bearcat legends. And Stu, you've been watching Bearcat basketball for a long time. I mean, those two guys right there, Cash and K-Sat, are as good a guards as we've ever had.
Oh, no doubt.
Right?
No doubt. I agree, for sure.
And it's going to be awesome to see them, leading a high school basketball program here in our city.
Oh, no doubt, man. Especially Katie, man. That's pretty dope that, Hughes is literally right next door.
Yeah.
To UC.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's literally in the same neighborhood. It's walking distance. So I think that's pretty dope too.
That is. So it's great to have these guys back. And like I said, next week we're going to kind of do the same thing and talk to James White and Ronald Allen. First started this podcast, I was talking to somebody about like how I should approach it. And the great advice I got from somebody that does a podcast on a national level, good friend of mine, he told me, find your lane. Find a lane with your podcast that nobody else is really doing and be really, really good in that lane. And what I found was, I could come on the podcast and talk about Bearcat basketball. That's easy for me. But to find these former players and what they're doing, because I know these former players mean so much to the Bearcat fans. Bearcat fans want to know, what's Kenny Satterfield doing? What's Cash doing? What's D'Antonio Wingfield doing? So forth, down the line, all the way back to the 80s. And it's been awesome to give them, these former players, the platform to tell their whole story. I mean, there are players that have come on this podcast and told their story from high school through college and after, and they've told me, no one's ever asked me about that. He says, I played at UC for 4 years, and not one, media person, no one asked me my story. And he's like, this was awesome, telling my story. And there were parts of it that were just absolutely fascinating. So it's been really fun, not only going, I just didn't want to approach it as, hey, what are you up to? Blah, blah, blah. What do you think about the Bearcats now? Okay, that's cool, but tell us your story. How did you get to UC? How was your experience when you were at UC wearing the red and black? What are you doing now? So that's been fun, and I'm trying to stay in that lane and be really, really good in that lane. Hopefully Bearcat fans are enjoying that. So the Bearcat Basketball Podcast is presented by the Healthcare Management Group. Shout out to everyone at HCMG, and thank you for the support. Stu, another great podcast.
Very good. Another very good podcast.
Another very good. And Stu, I think Colin is becoming that star that we all thought he would be.
Yeah, he's becoming everything we knew he could be.
That's right. That's right. And also, quick update, I did not win the first round of the Vaximillion lottery. There will be more opportunities.
Yeah.
And then my restaurant, The Shoe, will slowly happen.
It's coming.
The Shoe, right?
At The Shoe. The Shoe, right, The Shoe at The Shoe. Yes. We're going to be serving. We got to get a banana bread too. Oh, Bob Huggins banana bread? No. I mean, no. It's got to have some bourbon in there and some whiskey, throw a little flavor in there. You can follow me on social media. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Alex_Meacham. Meacham spelled Meacham. I'm also on Facebook and LinkedIn, Alex Meacham. On Snapchat, Big Meach 41, and I'm on TikTok. And every week I say I'm going to put up a video, and I don't.
And you don't.
I think that's just going to be the running joke for a while, that I'm going to put up a video, and I don't.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, but when you put that first one out, they're not going to be ready.
Ooh, you better watch out. Ooh, what'd you think of those vocals? You get sign me up.
Yeah, take some singing lessons with your piano lessons.
Oh,
you need to just pull a whole Stevie Wonder.
Oh, let me update real quick. So I reached out to a guy about taking piano lessons. He sent me, I said, hey, can you email me like pricing structure and all this? This dude sends me like the most elaborate like breakdown of what he does. And it was like in this PowerPoint presentation, I'm like, this dude is like Mozart. Like he's on point. And I'm like, I've got to work with this guy.
Right.
Like he is so meticulous. So I will be taking piano lessons in June. I'm going to sign up for the first 8 sessions. And apparently part of the first 8, I've got to learn how to read music. Learn how to read a little music first. So that might take 8 sessions, knowing my dumb man. So at some point, we're going to have a band. Okay. I'm going to be the piano guy. You're going to be the guitar, also vocals. Stu will be the Luther Vandross of the group. Right?
Yes, sir.
Good. And we need to come up with a name for the band. We don't have to say that now.
I was going to say, I don't want to rush that.
We can't rush that. That's like the banana bread. You got to put that in the oven and just let it.
Yeah, let it cook.
Let it bake.
Just now? Nah.
Don't hit the people with it.
We gotta let it bake a little bit. Let it cook.
we gotta let it bake. You ain't lying about that. As always, I want to thank everybody for listening to another episode of the Bearcat Basketball Podcast. Go Bearcats! Ooh, all 3 of us said that.